If the world is in hysteria and life's just not quite fair to you, you don't know what to do between what is right now and what used to be, don't worry. Do your quarantine with Ginger and Black.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to our very first episode of Quarantime with Ginger
and Black.
We decided to start this podcast mainly just because Ian needs more attention. No, I'm just kidding. We decided to start it because during quarantine right now, like, everyone's kind of bored, and we thought it'd be fun to make something entertaining for you guys. So, just a quick introduction. My name is Sam Darge. I'm a junior in high school, and a little fun fact about me, I have been slapped in the face with a flour tortilla, not once, but 2 times. And just a little clarification on this. It was not against my will. Like, I decided to do this, so.
You wanted that. I'm just surprised that you find yourself in that sort of setting and that there's people so willing to smack you with a tortilla.
Oh, yeah, it was Ben Darge. He was definitely willing to do it.
Brother Ben. And my name is Ian Black. I've been the student pastor at Eagle for 5 years now, which officially makes me old. Wow. Throwing shade on our first episode. And my weird fact is that I'm from the greatest city in the world, Chicago,
Illinois. I'm actually wearing my Chicago sweatshirt for
this is like a Meyer sweatshirt, because this is what happens when we're in quarantine. You can't shop anywhere else. My Chicago-ness came out last night because my parents for Easter sent me 2 frozen Lou Malnati deep dishes, like deep dish pizzas.
Dude.
And I finished the second one last night.
I saw that on your Instagram, man. That pizza looked too. I thought it was Giordano's at first because it kind of looked like it.
Right. I mean, they look similar, but no, never. Always.
You don't like Giordano's?
I mean, I like it, but I love Lou's.
True. I've never had that. But as long as you at least think Giordano's is good.
Oh, yeah. So good.
All right. So we figured since, we're making history with our first episode, we could talk about history. So we were going to be talking about Ignite Camp stories. And for anyone who doesn't know, Ignite Camp is Eagle Church's church camp in the summer. Super great week. I strongly suggest you go. You won't regret it. And after hearing this episode, you're definitely going to want to. So, Ian, do you want me to start off with the story?
Yeah, man, you start.
All right. Probably my favorite camp stories from Reach Ignite last year, 2019. I don't remember what day it was. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday night. Me and my cabin mates decided to prank the seniors. So they were having like their little pizza party, and this was like, I think past midnight at some time. So no, they knew it was us when we pranked them because we were the only other ones up. And so we decided, so there's like this obstacle course in the woods, and there's like a ton of tires in it, right? Like the obstacle course when you like jump through the tires or whatever. So we like ripped them out of the ground and rolled them to their cabin. And
which I interject real fast to say, camp director frowns upon the removal.
Yeah,
of
don't
tires.
do this. If you guys go to Ignite, don't do this. Yeah. So anyways, we're teenagers, right? So we weren't really thinking much about it. And it was like,
truth.
Yeah, for real. It was like raining all night, and it turns out these tires were like incredibly muddy. So we rolled them to the cabin, not knowing how muddy they were. And we put like all 8 of them in their bathroom, right? So we went back to our cabin. We were so proud of ourselves. And the seniors ended up like, obviously they found out, because how could you not realize there's 8 muddy tires in your bathroom? And so they like came to our cabin, and we like locked the doors and all this stuff. And it was actually really funny because our cabin leader, Brad Carter, and their cabin leader, Seth, came to our door, and they were like knocking on it, trying to get in. And we like didn't think it was them. We thought it was like seniors like trying to get in. And I remember Drew was like, "Oh yeah, if you're actually Brad, what's the name of your son?" And like, for people who don't know, Brad has a daughter.
Has a daughter, right?
Yeah, so that was funny. And so we ended up letting him in because we found out it was Brad and Seth. And Seth was like really mad. So Brad told us that he was just acting. Brad told us he was just acting, like he wasn't actually this mad. But let me tell you, Seth is a good actor, because he was like, he was really upset. And
you were convinced, right? Like,
I was convinced. Like we all felt bad. It was kind of one of those pranks where it's like we pranked them, but we also pranked ourselves because he made us go back and clean it up for him. So it was all fun and games. It was a good time. And I remember, so they got us back the next morning. This is really funny because so I woke up really early. It was like 6:45, and I walked into the bathroom. And so for people who don't know, the bathroom in Crow's Nest, like you go in and to the right is like hangers, or not hangers, but hooks for towels. And to the left is the showers. And I walked in and there's like 5 or 6 guys in my shower, and they were all like, "What's up, Sam?" And I was just like, "What's up, boys?" And I walked to the right. And
That's a great response.
Yeah, well, it was 6:45, so I was like barely
You're out
awake.
of it, yeah.
And I didn't realize it was the senior guys. I thought it was like Colson, Sam, Thomas, and Gunner, like just clowning around. And I got my towel, and when I was coming back, I like opened my eyes more, and there's like almost all of them in one little shower. Yeah. And I actually ended up taking a shower in the other one right next to them while they're in it. But yeah, it was a good time, and there was no hard feelings. Like that morning, me and Sam Miller had coffee with some of them, and we were just talking about it, and they thought it was a good prank. So,
please tell me you did like put the tires back, right?
Oh yeah, we put the tires back in the spot. I mean, there was like the indents from the tires, so we knew where to put them.
There you go.
It was all fun and games. No hard feelings. No damage done.
All right. So my fun, like one of my favorite stories actually came from my first year of Ignite camp. So this is 2015 Beyond Ignite.
Oh man.
This is back like the Camp Mac days, right?
Yeah.
And so first, to set up the story, you got to realize that Keith Harshbarger, who's like the Ignite wizard, who does so much for us, Keith always stays up late doing different video editing for us. It could be a recap video. It could be a creative video. And also where he normally does it, and specifically at Camp Mac, it's this open air session room, right? Where just like, you can't really close it up. It's just a shelter with big open doors. Anyways, so last night at camp, it's raining out, and I'm driving my cool little golf cart around doing camp errands like one does. And all of a sudden students wanted to come with. So they start like getting onto the golf cart, then hanging onto the back, hanging off the sides, which I'll admit, I was worried. I was nervous that someone was going to like get their face smacked off by a branch, because at some point we were in a field, but other points we're like in a forest on a path and it's raining. Like, I'm impressed by the engine and motor of the golf cart. Like, it took a lot.
It's a strong vehicle, man.
Exactly. But the end of the story is that like we started dropping students off because it was like late. And so it's like, all right, guys, you finally got to go to bed. And me and another leader, we drive the cart back into like the open air session room, and we see Keith working alone, doing his thing. And we're like, "Hey, Keith, are we bothering you?" And then the way that only Keith does, he turns and he's like, "Ian, you're bothering the entire camp." Then he goes back to work.
That's a classic Keith, man. I could like actually picture that. Like, I could just picture him looking over, saying that.
And ever since that, I always knew that Keith and I were going to be like this.
Yeah, dude, Keith.
Like this.
Yeah, Keith is a beast, man. Yeah, actually, real shout out to Evan Bacon for writing an awesome intro for the podcast.
That's right, that intro that you heard right at the beginning.
Yes, that was amazing. And also shout out to Sam Stanscavich and Keith Harshbarger for designing an awesome logo for us. We really appreciate you guys.
Was that literally all Evan? Did anyone else help with that? We
Dylan South also helps record the song. So shout out to all of them. So grateful to have you guys in the Eagle community.
That's right. So what about like a good God story for you from camp? And then I'll share one.
So last year at Reach Ignite, most of my stories come from Reach, because Reach was just such a good year. It was definitely like the best year for me, like spiritually. And I remember on like the first night, the speaker Coy was like, he had us all close our eyes and raise our hands, like if we were struggling with anything. So I rose my hand, and our cabin leaders like saw the students who rose their hand, right? And I remember on Thursday night, me and Brad Carter and Christian Zimmerman, like we were talking about like why I rose my hand, and I just told them like what I've been struggling with. And it was like, for any of you guys who don't know me, like I did not cry easily at all. And I just started weeping like once I told them, because it was like this feeling of just getting something off my chest that I had held in for so long.
Yeah, like freedom, right?
Yeah, for real. So I feel like that was like the starting point to me really growing in my faith. And that was just definitely one of my favorite memories from all my camps. And Beyond was my first one, so I go way back with you.
That's right.
I did not know that you were at Beyond, Ian.
Yeah.
I did not realize.
Thanks, Sam. That's cool.
Well, I try to forget a lot of the years that you're here.
I don't know. It's so funny. If people know you, I'm like, why is all this shade coming up?
No. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Let me explain something here, guys. Me and Ian, like, we're super tight, but Ian is the type of guy where, like, you have to also make fun of him. You know, it's not a healthy relationship.
That's how I love it.
Make fun of him.
Right.
So it's not hard feelings. I don't actually mean most of it.
I like that. I'm going to use that. It's not a healthy relationship if you don't make fun of them.
Exactly.
So my God story, I mean, there's so many. And what's
Mhm.
cool is I have some that are personal to me. I have
Yeah.
some of like getting to observe students. So for example, like the last 2 years of getting to lead through those worship stations on Thursday night,
Mhm.
you know, like knowing that there's a group of us that kind of dreamt up the stations and
Yeah.
then getting to walk it out and see God move in the lives of students,
Yeah,
or
for sure.
like see students do ministry to each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I love that. But my story comes from beyond year, a different part of that year,
Yeah.
where probably Tuesday or Wednesday nights, the speaker was leading through a gospel message, and there was 2 students that wanted to leave leave that open air session to go pray outside. So we did that. They prayed to receive Christ. We come back in, we're worshiping, the band's playing, and I just broke down. Like I was all weepy. But I think it was because I was about 6 months into Eagle, and my transition from my last church had been really rough. And so just kind of having the Lord speak to me in that time, being able to be used like within the lives of students in that way during that week, it just felt super humbling. So that's so it stands out as like God just affirming like his calling to me to Eagle and stuff.
Man.
So
yeah, and on all seriousness, like you're a great youth pastor, bro, and we're definitely grateful to have
broski.
you. I don't know, like I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for you, Ian. I could potentially be being behind bars or something.
It would be really sketch. Well, and I know by the time this gets posted, it will already happen. But we got to give Sam a little shout out because later on today, so this is a big Friday for Sam. Later on today, Sam's going to be speaking to our middle school students, bringing the word like only Sam Darge can. So
I'm excited. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Yeah. Middle schoolers don't know what's coming.
That's right, they don't.
So you got any more stories, Ian, or should I tell another one?
You got another one. Yeah,
I got another one. Yeah. This was again from Reach Ignite last year. This was really cool. So me and my friend Harrison were playing Nine Square, and I honestly don't even remember how we started this, but like we basically just started asking people, like random people, a fun fact about themselves, and kind of just put people on the spot for fun. And it turned into like this game where like when you got in the square, you told a fun fact about yourself. And it was really awesome. Like people, like we just all got to know each other. I got to know a lot of stuff about people I didn't know. So that was really cool. And me and Harrison actually made like a lot of friends through that. So that was a really cool time. And I think that kind of just shows like at Ignite, like it's you're going to meet new people, right? And it's just so amazing, like being able to just do stuff like that and meet new people and get to know people that I didn't think I would have been getting to know.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, but even like, within your story of connecting and reconnecting, like you've been at Eagle for a good long time.
Yeah, 8 years.
Exactly. But then like you kind of reconnected with a lot of students last summer, which I think is cool. So, like if you're either brand new to Eagle students or if you've been around, but you feel disconnected, if you give yourself a chance, like, I think a lot of times students will just hold back and they'll be like, no, I don't want to. So you're a strong story.
Yeah. Cause going off of that, like I didn't go to youth group very much. And like, I wasn't really that close with anyone at church. And it was kind of one of those things where it was like, oh man, church is a chore. Like I have to go do this because I'm a Christian. But then like after Reach Ignite last year, like whole perspective changed.
Full 360.
Like, and because I moved to Noblesville last year, right? So I kind of use that as an excuse to not go to youth group. But like after camp, I've been to youth group as much as I possibly can. And I like going to Eagle, you know, and I like learning about Jesus, and I'm really close with a lot of guys from Eagle. So
yeah, man,
I strongly suggest checking Eagle Church out if you don't know what church to go to.
Dude, can I introduce one of our segments that will be recurring? All right, y'all. So each time we do this podcast, we'll hit a different topic. Obviously, today is Ignite, but then we're also going to pull in some fun segments. And so I love listening to Ben Shapiro's podcast. I know he's a polarizing figure, so if you don't like him, it's fine. But we got to give him credit. So shout out Ben, but we're stealing one of his segments of things I love and things I hate. Yes. So I'll go first with something that I hate about Ignite, which is hard to come up with, right?
There's not many.
Right. But so actually I'm going to say two things.
Okay, go ahead, man.
One thing is the lack of sleep, because as one of the camp directors, I love it. It's an awesome week. Wouldn't change it at all. But I don't sleep much because there's always something to do. And then the other thing I hate is when everyone's having fun and doing their rec activities in the afternoon, I don't get to. So like the last 3 years we've been at Grace Adventures, and I've wanted to I want to go horseback riding, or I want to do this or that. Like, I don't get to do it.
You're only there for yourself, man.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I'm joking.
But yeah, so that's what I hate. I did last year though. I finally went ziplining.
Ooh,
because I love high ropes courses. I love ziplining.
Yeah,
and I finally did it. So what about you?
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I don't even know where the zip line is at Grace Adventures. Like, I've tried to go before, and like I just can't.
You don't know where it is?
Yeah, like I've tried to find it, and I'm just like, all right, I'm just not gonna do this. One thing that I absolutely love and hate about camp is tubing. So tubing is my favorite activity. It's so much fun, but the wait. And like anyone who's been to Ignite knows, like you sometimes have to wait an hour to go tubing, and it's kind of one of those like love-hate type things. You know, it's in the middle because you love it because you get to go tubing, and also like you get to talk with people, and like I said, meet new people, socialize for an hour. But also like sometimes it feels like waiting to go tubing once takes up like half your free time. Not literally, but it feels like that sometimes. So that's one thing I kind of like love and hate about Ignite. One thing I absolutely love about Ignite. So last year, I've only got to do this once. Last year, my cabin, we stayed in the Crow's Nest cabin, and Crow's Nest is, if I describe it in one word, I describe it as luxury.
Luxury at camp.
And yeah, anyone who's been to Ignite knows, like the cabins, they're actually not horrible. Like for a campus, they're not bad. But
shout out Grace Adventures.
Yeah, Grace Adventures is such an amazing campus. But Crow's Nest was like recently built. So it's like way nicer. There's 2 showers. There's way more beds, and like the bed frame is nicer. And I tell you, it was so amazing staying in there. Being able to lock the doors when the seniors were coming out, that was I'm so grateful.
Gold.
So grateful for that. You got anything you?
Well, I got to take things I love. I love all the things you said. I think I love getting to watch God, move in your guys' lives. I think I love how heavily Eagle as a church community owns camp.
Yeah.
And so if let's say you're watching this podcast and you're not familiar with Ignite, Ignite's one of those camps where all of our cabin leaders, our worship team, it's all our own people. So the same adults that are serving with students all year are the people who are at camp. And so like seeing this small army, I mean, we bring, I think, 30 to 40 adults each year to camp. And so I'm so thankful for them. I love watching that team function.
For sure, man.
I love all the God stories. And of course, I love the fun. Like I love the hosting that we get to do, the afterglows. Like,
afterglows are amazing.
My favorite one is still where we do capture the flag, glow in the dark style at the dunes.
Yeah, that one is so much fun.
Sick.
I have to say, my favorite one is Battle Ball. Like Battle Ball gets intense, but I love it. And like, dude, I remember this is more of like a story, but I remember my friend Sam Stan, who's one of the people who designed the logo, he popped off in Battle Ball, man. I couldn't believe it. Like he was like all around the whole court, getting people out, dodging everything. For those of you guys who don't know, Battle Ball is like basically dodgeball, only like there's no limits to where you can go, and there's like obstacles and stuff. It was so much fun to watch Sam get everyone out, because that year we ended up like beating the seniors, and like we won the tournament or whatever. And we were sophomores that time, and it was mostly because of Sam. I just have to say that.
Right, he went off.
For sure, yeah, we went off. Also, building off of what you said, Ian, like the one thing I do absolutely love about Ignite is the staff, like the leaders, because like the cabin leaders are so good. And like I've definitely grown in my faith throughout the years because of my cabin leaders. Absolutely. And also like the worship team, there's like some of my favorite moments of worshiping Jesus have been from camp, because it's just like the team does such a good job at just like, you know, doing the worship, but also like getting everybody in on it. So yeah, I definitely agree. The team, the staff is amazing.
Dude,
of course.
Right, of course. Got to get that dig in there.
Yeah, I had to get that in there.
Why don't you wrap us up with a prayer, because that's our time. So.
Yeah, for real. All right. Dear Heavenly Father, we love you so much. And we thank you for just helping us learn through this quarantine. I know that there's been a lot of things that kind of stink about it, but there's also been a lot of good things, and I've definitely seen you work through this time. We thank you for this podcast, and I pray that you just let people enjoy it, let people be entertained by it. And I pray that for the next one, maybe Ian talks a little less. Lord, I love you so much, and I pray that you just let quarantine end soon so we can get back to our regular social lives. Amen.
Amen. Oh, look, there's that timer.
Perfect timing, right at the buzzer.
There we go, right at the buzzer. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, see you guys.
See ya.
If the world is in hysteria and life's just not quite fair to you, you don't know what to do between what is right now and what used to be, don't worry. Do your quarantine with ginger